All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the Raiders Report. Hope everyone's able to enjoy the holiday season, even though Ontario and the rest of Canada are sort of faced with some new COVID restrictions here. But hopefully, everyone's still able to enjoy the time with some family. Today, we're joined by a very special guest, former Nepean Raiders assistant captain and D-man Michael Verred. Michael played 4 big seasons for the Nepean Raiders, making the playoffs in all 4. Michael was also part of the championship winning team in 2011, 2012. He was kind enough to lend us some of his time today and joins us on the show. Welcome, Michael. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Fantastic. Listen, before I even get started, I want to apologize for almost making you come on the show on Christmas Eve.
No worries. Yeah, I was a little nervous when I got the message there. I was like, I'm not sure that's the dates, but
For a little context,
we figured it out. Yeah, we figured it out. Don't worry.
But yeah, a little context. We were just trying to figure out the best day to record the episode. And I don't know, I was looking at my schedule and I saw, oh, next Friday is super open. I got nothing. So I suggested
You wonder why, yeah.
I didn't even think about it. I must have been distracted or something because I didn't see the date was the 24th of December. So thankfully you messaged me back the actual date and I kind of realized that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, you gave me Friday, give me Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. And
Yeah.
we're just wondering
Really great
if those are the best times we could do it. But yeah, eventually, we got it together. No worries.
Yeah, here we are. We got it together. So let's get into it. Okay, speaking of the holidays, right around the corner, are you ready for that? Did you get all your gifts? The list is all done.
Yeah, absolutely. I just I'm actually right here in Florida now. I'm with my wife and her family, and we did a little Secret Santa this year. So I'm thankfully I was had a tough exam season, but I was able to get prepared in advance. So we're all good.
Yeah, I'm on that same boat. I had all these exams, and it doesn't leave as much time as you wish you had to kind of get get everything you need. But yeah. So you're spending time in Florida. What is that like over there? Are you enjoying it?
No, it's good. It's good. It's nice to be here. I hadn't seen my mom in a while, so I was able to come see her, and then we made the trek over to my wife and her family. We're just seeing them for the first time in a while because all the COVID stuff. So it's really nice. It's beautiful weather and happy to be here.
Yeah, it's currently snowing here in Ottawa, so I'm sure that it's a little bit better.
Much better, yeah. Exactly.
This doesn't really apply to you, but this question is still good either way. More restrictions coming here, maybe a lockdown in Ottawa and in Ontario. Were you ever involved in a lockdown, and how did you keep busy? Did you pick up any hobbies?
Yeah, actually, so I've been living in Ireland for the past 3.5 years there, and I remember at least at the start, I'm not sure if it is now, but at least at the start, Ireland was one of the most locked down countries in the world. Especially in Europe, especially in the EU. So it was tough for sure. I was still going out a lot because I'm in medical school now. So we're still allowed to go to the hospital. So I was still going out, but my wife was kind of locked down. She wasn't really doing much. All her classes were online. Right. It was our clinical years there. So I was still, going out every day, but it definitely was hard. I remember the funniest thing was last year on Christmas, we had my brother-in-law come from London, and we had a nice they opened up our Dublin for about 2.5, 3 weeks, whatever it was, and so we had all these plans, and we had a nice Christmas dinner planned, and then Christmas Eve or the day before, actually, they're just like surprise lockdown tomorrow, and we're
no.
Well, it looks like our plans are canceled, so we had to think quick on our feet, but we ended up doing something nice. But yeah, no, it was pretty crazy in Dublin, especially. They really loved their Christmas there, so
right.
it was a really big shock. Everyone thought we're locked down from whatever it was, September to December, to have a nice few weeks, and then the cases really spiked there, so right. They had to kind of shut it down quick, and then they weren't really open from January till May. So it was a long time.
Oh boy, that's quite a long time. Hopefully, you're still able to enjoy being, abroad like that. Hopefully you're still able to enjoy that experience.
Yeah. I mean, the nice thing is the weather is pretty tame, especially compared to Ottawa. So, you can do kind of outdoor seating with, a big jacket or heaters pretty much year round. So
Right on.
that's kind of a nice advantage in that, like, through the winter months, it's still possible to kind of go do patios and do takeaway drinks and stuff. So
Right. Is there how's the hockey in Ireland?
it's funny, they in Ireland they don't have anything, but in Northern Ireland they have the Belfast Giants, part of the British League there, and
Okay.
I'm part of the Canadian society here at my school, and every year we do a trip to Belfast to watch a game. And I've seen a few CCHL veterans there, a few
Right.
college guys there. It's pretty good hockey still. Like there's still a lot of pretty good guys, but it's super fun. There's a I don't I it may be closed now, but there's a bar in the rink that's like run by a Canadian guy. All
Oh,
these
right.
jerseys has like everything from like a Cumberland Grads jersey to like an
Wow.
AHL jersey there. So it's pretty fun. Like the Belfast Giants are pretty fun.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hockey was like out in Ireland. I know there's some everywhere in Europe, and there's the British League, but that's really interesting that they still got something going on over there.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah.
Talking Raiders here. It was a while ago for yourself, so I'll try to jog your memory as best as I can
Yeah.
here. For yourself, 4 pretty good seasons. First of all, how did you remember how you ended up playing for the Raiders?
Yeah. So it was my minor midget year. They had the protection draft, or I don't know what it's called now, but so I was part of that, one of the first few rounds or whatever. So I never ended up playing a game when I was a minor midget when I was 15. I know some other guys did, but I made the team in my 16-year-old year, sparingly, but as a young rookie, it was still a lot of fun to come in. It was kind of like my hometown team, as I wasn't in kind of Nepean proper as most of those guys growing up did, played for like the Nepean Raiders minor hockey team,
Right.
but it was still the closest rink to me. So it was pretty fun going there, quick 10-minute drive from my house. And I don't know. Yeah, it was fun. It was awesome. I'm really happy I got in there, a little taste of it at 16, a little bit more responsibility at 17. And then, assistant captain the last 2 years at 18, 19, and then get more responsibility. So it was a pretty fun time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Your first kind of season actually playing. How was that experience for you? Kind of just getting out there and really just playing.
It was super fun. I mean, I had a shake up that, my first few weeks, I had a really bad strep throat. Actually, I remember,
Oh
I think I
boy.
was in the hospital for a day or two, but I missed about 2 or 3 weeks. Lost about 15 pounds really quickly, and
Oh man.
I was already a skinny 16-year-old kid, so it wasn't it wasn't what I needed. But we had a lot of pretty good veterans on the team at that point. So I was obviously playing like third pairing, sparing minutes, but just trying to get my feet wet and pretty much every time not mess up and just try to earn the trust of the coaches there. But I
Right.
learned a lot. We had a few 20-year-olds on D that year, which were really, really helpful. Caravo and Telfer there, they're pretty good leaders. So they really taught me a lot, which was really good.
Yeah, I'm sure that, a little experience went a long way for a younger guy like yourself to kind of have guys to look
Absolutely,
up
yeah.
to. Absolutely, yeah. So during your tenure, as I mentioned earlier, made the playoffs basically every year that you were there. And made the finals 2 consecutive seasons, were regular season champs, playoff champs, Um, what was it like being in the playoffs every year, being competitive every year? That must have been a good feeling for the team and for yourself.
Like yeah, it was pretty amazing. I mean, it was kind of like our elite teams were sandwiched in between. Like our first year that I was in the playoffs, I don't know if we got swept or we lost in five. I can't remember, but we were kind of a fringe team. Those 2 years we made the finals were outstanding, and then my last year we kind of knew we were a little bit on like the downslope there. So I remember we got swept that last year, and it was tough because we had a lot of us older guys who had played pretty much those 3-4 years together. So that was kind of a tough pill to swallow. But those middle 2 years where we made the finals, won the first year in 2011, 2012, and we were so close to going back to
Yeah.
back, and we really had a good team. We really had the good team to go for it. Just a really couple of bad breaks, and that's kind of what ended it for us. But yeah, I was gonna say it was kind of like we started low, went up high, and then kind of came
Went
back
back.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it was great to be in the playoffs those all 4 years. I know the team struggled kind of a bit since a lot of us guys from that championship team left. So
Right.
it was nice to be there all 4 years and know we were going to play at least a few extra games after the season ended.
Absolutely. I mean, having that kind of roller coaster, going up and then going down. I mean,
Yeah,
at least it keeps it interesting. You're
absolutely. Yeah,
always on your
exactly.
feet. So you talked about that, playoff win in 11-12. Must have been a pretty good feeling for the group. Do you remember that feeling? Do you remember what, winning with the team?
Oh yeah, the best thing you can do is win on home ice, and we were able to do that. It was absolutely outstanding. We had Stevie Y packed, so it was such a good feeling to be there, and yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of good memories coming back. We had a lot of great guys there. Captain Craig Cowie leading us was,
Absolutely.
he
Yeah.
was an absolute force in the playoffs there. So he missed a couple of games, but still just, the heart and soul kind of guy that you always need. It was an amazing time, and yeah, I was really happy to be able to celebrate there on home ice.
Absolutely. Would you say you attribute the success of that team to kind of just the group of guys you guys had? Like, was it you mentioned this, how strong the group was. Is that where you attribute the success, is the
For
group of
sure.
guys?
I mean, yeah, we had so many studs on that team. It
Yeah.
was almost, it's almost unfair. We always give credit. Our coach Peter Goulet at the time, he was an
Absolutely. Yeah.
insane recruiter. Was able to, convince anybody to come play here. But yeah, no, it was crazy. I mean, we had half the decor end up playing in the NHL. I was
Yeah.
part of the other half that didn't, but
Yeah.
between Uyghur, Ryan Johnson, who was actually my roommate at the time, and
Oh yeah.
Hutton there, like coming over at midseason trade, like the entire. I mean, Uyghur was a rookie there, but the entire time we always had a guy who was just like an absolute stud on the ice. So
Right.
it didn't matter. And then our forwards, that I'm sure everyone who's been on the podcast talked about that line of Cowie,
Yeah.
Ryan McLean and Kenny Neal, just they had the puck the entire time. Nobody can take the
Yeah.
puck off them. Like they complemented each other so well. And then kind of to have, that, secondary scoring in Hedgie and Norris was just like, it was unfair. Those guys are
Yeah.
top line guys, like in the league, any other team. So
Yeah.
it was, we were, it's, you look back on it now and you kind of laugh at how stacked we were,
Yeah.
but it was,
Especially in
like
hindsight, you get to
yeah,
see
exactly.
guys.
At the
Yeah.
time, you might not have even realized it, but it was unfair, like how good we were for a junior team at that time.
Absolutely. So we talked a lot about, the success the teams had, and obviously you guys went back to back in the finals, but just missed out on another championship to the Colts. We talk a lot about success and winning, but what can you learn from failure? I mean, there's obviously lessons to take from that as well.
Yeah, I mean, like it was like, as you said, it was definitely a tough pill to swallow, especially, we had a decent amount of guys coming back from, from that championship winning team,
Right.
that we really thought we could run it back, and we were so close. I mean, we knew we definitely weren't as dominant as the year before, but we're still like an insane team. We had a lot of guys who kind of progressed, from Hedges and Hurley and Brandon Watt there. They definitely stepped up their games. If I had all the time in the world, unfortunately, we could have learned from that loss and, kept going, but, you age out, or, you move on to other things, and
Right.
you can't really keep it going. But it was hard. But I do think that there is lesson to be learned there. We gave it our all. We tried really hard, and, you kind of pick up on things that didn't work, and hopefully can pass them down to the younger year guys, and hopefully,
Yeah.
they can come together and put something together.
Absolutely. Talking about leadership, you got the A in your last season, getting that assistant captain. You talked about it was kind of a downturn towards the end there, but how did you feel about getting that and that for the team, getting that leadership?
Well, I mean, this may not be big news out there, but I actually had the A for 2 years. We had maybe three assistant captains in that second championship roster. So, sorry, second finals roster. So
Right.
I did have the A there. It was nice to be given a lot of responsibility as an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old. We had an amazing leadership group. That last year, Keenan Hodgson was the captain. He was my roommate actually.
Oh yeah.
Had a few roommates there, but he's from out of town, so he stayed at my place that last year, and he was just the absolute example of like a guy who leads by example. Like, always worked his hardest, and you'd always just look up to him, and you knew he cared the most out of anyone, was working his hardest. So that's kind of how I tried to, I learned a lot from him in terms. I wasn't a very, I guess both kind of quiet guys. I wasn't a very vocal leader, but kind of people understood, where I was coming from, that, that we both expected a lot. We've been in the league for a few years, we've been teammates for 3 or 4 years. So we kind of complement each other, that we were both kind of the guys who were just like, people just know we expect you to give it your all. Like we're not necessarily going to be the guys yelling at you to pick it up, or you're doing something wrong, but
it's understood.
Yeah, you saw the way we worked and the way we were blocking shots and doing anything we could to get the puck out on the penalty kill, stuff like that, and people kind of saw that and fed off that.
Do you want to tell me about a funny story you have playing with the Raiders?
Yeah, so this is probably my best one. My memory is not so great, but will be ingrained in it forever. We're playing in Cumberland, or Navan now, I guess they call it. And one of the guys there was a bit of a hothead, nice, tough guy. And I was having a pretty terrible game, and I don't know what came over me, but I was just like, I was in one of those, I got into a mindset where I'm just like, you know what, I'm having a terrible game. Maybe I'll grab a fight, and then I'll get kicked out, and I'll watch the rest of the game, because I don't know, I was brutal. So I don't know why I did it, but chose the toughest guy on their team, who was known throughout the league as a really, really tough guy, Zach Rodier. And I just kind of antagonized him for whatever reason. It was absolutely stupid of me, but so we're in one of the corners there, and dropped the gloves, and kind of grappled on each other. I think I threw maybe one punch, maybe if that. I don't even know if I landed it, and he just clocked me with an excellent punch, just right.
Oh no!
Right across the nose. Ended up breaking my nose, but and I had to go to the hospital. I had to go to the hospital that evening, and kind of get it just reset there, which was very smart. Get it reset right away rather than deal with it. But he was so mad, because he's the guy. Also, he was their fighter. He loved to fight, and he was pissed at me because, he clocked me, and I kind of knew it right away. Where I was, I knew something was wrong. I was like, oh, crap! Like he just dusted me.
Yeah.
And so I did that thing where I just kind of bear hugged him, so to kind of end it, and so he couldn't keep going at me, and he was furious. He was just so mad. The refs kind of separated us, and he ended up, he threw his mouth guard at me, like he was pissed.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was so pissed. And I mean, I was, fairness to him, I knew he was gonna just absolutely pummel me, and I already knew that after one punch. But the best part of that story is, I don't know, about maybe a week or 2 weeks later, we traded for him, so we became teammates. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry. I knew you just absolutely destroyed me. And what the nice thing is he wasn't a guy who held a grudge. We just laughed it off together. We both knew, I was going to pretend I was going to beat him or anything. I'm like, you had me dead to rights. I knew it right away. So, it was nice to be able to laugh that off. Even though he was I couldn't even describe how mad he was. Just furious. Absolutely livid. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't hold a grudge though. That's good to hear.
No, it was nice. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
First practice was okay. So
speaking of teammates, is there a teammate, not any year in specific, but someone that stood out to you over the years that, kind of helped you along the way or gave you some tips or just stood out?
Yeah, actually, I'm sure this is gonna be the answer for everyone, but Craig Cowie was, the ultimate teammate you could ask for. I guess that, kind of the perfect example of that was I played the 1 year D3, and unfortunately, I had a really bad concussion that kind of, started the trend of just having to walk away.
Right.
And what I did is I called Peter Goulet, my old coach there, and I kind of just said, listen, like, I'm not really sure what to do. Like, I'm having a really tough time. And he told me, call Craig, because, Craig had, not dealt with something similar, but he played a few years or whatever at college. And he said, you know what, it's time for me to hang it up. I got to call it quits. So I did call Craig and I asked for advice there. That's, about 3 or 4 years after we've been teammates. I said, listen, man, like, I'm not really sure what to do. Like, I'm having a tough time here.
Right.
And he just, talked to me as a friend, talked about his experience and gave his advice. And,
Right.
I mean, at the time we were teammates, I knew he was, an ultimate guy. And like, he lived and died for the Raiders. So it was amazing then. And then, a few years later, just being able to reach out to a guy like that and, and just ask for advice and, kind of get some direction. It was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. To get that, that connection, stays past just the team and kind of speaks to him as a guy. I mean, he's able to keep that relationship alive, and that's awesome to hear that he was able to do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a teammate that we're on the topic of teammates, I might as well keep going here.
Yeah.
Is there a guy who's just I don't know, like the funniest guy in the room all the time, like just clown? Is there someone like that you remember from your time anywhere really?
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, we had a lot of good funny guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say two guys. One of my good friends now, been the way since the Raiders. Wyatt Coghill was always a good guy in the room. He came over. I think he had a try with Canada, and then he came over to us, and he just instantly bonded and and meshed into the team so well. But I'll give a shout out to one of our American friends, Cameron Yarwood, who he only played I think he only played 1 year there, but he was a riot, man. Like, he
Oh
kept
yeah.
everyone laughing, and like he played a bit between forward and D, and he was so good at both, and he was just
Oh
like
yeah.
a smooth skater. I think he's a pretty good roller hockey player now or something, but he was so I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. He was so funny. It was
I'll bleep it out if I have to.
yeah, he was so funny. He was, always had a big smile on his face and just kept everyone light. And he was a big part of that second final squad.
Right.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get over the hump, but he was a good guy.
Yeah.
He was my
I'm
D partner actually. He was my D partner actually that year, I think, for most of the year.
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's always good to have guys like that on the team, and
Yeah.
it's good to hear that there's a few of them. So you got to jog your memory a bit, trying to pick one or two, but that's good to hear. Yeah, you just
Mhm.
mentioned roller hockey. It brought something. Have you? Yeah, I've never actually played roller hockey. Have you? Is that something that guys do?
I think a lot of the American guys were pretty good at it.
Oh yeah,
Personally, I don't know why, but I couldn't translate my ice skating ability to roller blading.
it's different, right? I mean,
I'm an absolutely awful rollerblader, and I haven't even tried it in so long. But um, yeah, like I don't know. I don't think I could do it. Like I was an okay skater, for that level, but yeah,
right?
roller hockey just I couldn't do it. I don't think.
No, yeah, fair enough. Maybe not for everybody. So have you been keeping up with the Raiders in kind of some capacity here as you've left the organization and moved on?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm still following, all the Instagram, the Twitter, everything. Just I'm
Right.
hoping that they could bounce back because they had those big years in the 2000s where they're pretty elite squads, and then our years, were pretty high. But I've seen that unfortunately, like in the last few years, they haven't been as dominant as a team. And honestly, I think Peter Goulet from our years was a part of that. Like, the guy, used to drive 7 hours, sleep in his car just to talk to someone, convince him to play
Huh.
for the Raiders. And an amazing work ethic. And it's something that's probably really missed for the Raiders. I'm not sure, how the coaches and all that stuff is doing now, but yeah,
They're great. They're great staff for sure. I mean, they're phenomenal
yeah, I
guys.
know. I assume. I know they always get some really really top quality guys. Um, I've been keeping up a little less, since the guys I knew aged out. Like when I was the
Right.
19-year-old, like the whatever the 16-year-olds there. Like I always used to keep up. I think Corey Tam was the youngest guy on the team there. I think
Right.
was he captain? He ended up being captain one year, I
I
think.
believe
I
so.
don't know.
Yeah. Corey
Yeah,
was
yeah, no, he was really good. He really really good poised for a young guy when we were there, but kind of kept up a little less since the guys I recognize left, but
right.
still every time I see a win on the Instagram, I'll give it a like and
Yeah.
big smile.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, as you mentioned, not as competitive as, they've been in the past. Definitely got some great pieces and some good players for sure and good staff as well. But, as someone who's kind of experienced the success that you have, what kind of advice would you look to give a team who's trying to get back to that winning mentality?
Yeah, it's tough because
It's tough. Yeah.
I know kind of we were in a similar situation. My first year, they were coming off some not so great seasons, and we were kind of on like an upward trajectory there. So it really has to do, obviously you need the talent. We had some amazing players coming up, so you need the talent, but the work ethic, obviously, I'm sure everyone would say is top notch, is the most important thing you need. Like, and obviously the chemistry as a group, like we really really gelled together as a group. We had a lot of guys who were who complemented each other's games, both on and off the ice. We're really really good friends. A lot of close groups. We did a lot of stuff together, movie nights or just kind of like
Right.
hanging out at a billet's house or whatever, going out downtown for a little adult drinking fun. But it's a really good, you need the right combination of chemistry, work ethic, and talent. And once you find that, and once people start clicking, and you also need a little bit of a hot streak, a good goalie, and
Yeah.
someone who's going to be able to rack up the points. Like
Yeah.
we had guys who could put up 40 something goals. Like Norris one year put up 40 goals, Hedgie put up 40 goals one year, something like that. Like you get those guys, get those studs, and it really goes a long way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. So I asked this question kind of at the end of every interview I've done so far. Just because I think, different experiences, different answers for, everyone's experience, and it's always valuable. So
Mm-hmm.
my question is, and sometimes it takes a minute to get an answer, but no
Yeah.
worries, no problem. What advice would you have given yourself if you could talk to yourself back when you first starting out in the CJ?
Whew. That's a good one. I think I've thought about this a few times. Honestly, if I were to talk to myself, I'd say stop being so lazy and try to work hard. Like, I mean, I did work I did work hard, but I know, like, if I actually, a lot of the guys I was playing with, were big, like, workout fiends, and
Right.
they were always willing to put in extra work. And I love practicing, I love playing. The off ice stuff wasn't my favorite, and I'll be the
Right.
first one to say it, that I wasn't big into that. So I think that if I were to pay attention more to that, and put in some more effort on that side of things, things, I could have maybe done some more things than I did. So yeah, I'd say, kids, put in the work on off ice. Like, just because you can play, you can do well, doesn't mean you can't do even better than what you
Right.
think, because there always might be that higher gear that you can get to. I mean, I only scored a few a few goals my first 2 years, and then a few goals. I think I had 5 goals my third year and 7 goals my fourth year. Who knows, could have been 10, 15. I know, probably not, but I wasn't the biggest offensive guy. But
I
yeah,
think you had something
put
like
in that
five or
work.
seven. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Put in that work. Take care of yourself off in the off season, off ice, and you could be talking to anyone, going D1, whatever. It's possible.
It's possible. Yeah. Well, that's pretty good advice, I gotta say. Anyways, so listen, I won't take up any more of your time. I appreciate you coming on the show today and, taking some time to talk about your experience and your time with the Raiders. Good luck in the future. Hope you have a really good Christmas and holiday and spend time with some family.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's honestly like I just pulled up a few of the Hockey DB page just to reminisce on some names, but it's just a little bit of pre-interview prep, but
That's my job right there. That's what I
yeah,
got to do every time.
it's really fun. It's really fun, to kind of look back at those names and the guys I played with. Like I said, I had Ryan Johnson and his younger brother Steven, at my house for a few years. He's out playing in Europe now. I had Keenan Hodgson, one of the pretty good captains there,
Right.
living roommates for I think maybe 1 year. But it's pretty nice to be to reminisce on those guys and just look at the names and seeing, just kind of remember all the fun times. And, it was great. We were lucky that we had a lot of success during our, 2 or 3 years in the
Right.
league, which always makes the reminiscing even more fun.
Yeah, I bet.
But no, it was nice. We had play with a lot of good guys. Credit all my teammates, for all the fun times. And yeah, no, it was an amazing time being a Nepean Raider. And I hope anyone who's listening or is coming up has a great time as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's funny because I forget who I was talking to. I was doing an episode with someone on that, championship team. And it was like it was about a decade ago, eh? And they went like,
Oh my God.
oh
Yeah.
my God, yeah, that is a decade ago.
It sucks, kind of looking back and looking at those years and being like, oh my God, what a time we had when we were 17 and 18
Yeah.
and approaching 30s now, and you're like, oh.
Hey, plenty of good stuff in your 30s
always
too.
everyone's always keen to leave junior to go move up to the next level,
Right.
or go to college, whatever. But I know they say it about high school, university, everything, but like you really don't appreciate it until you can't have it anymore. And it was
Yeah.
amazing, those times, just being able to go to the rink and have so much fun with those guys. It's
Yeah.
something dearly missed.
Absolutely. So if anyone is watching coming up, enjoy your time. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Enjoy. Have a good one, man. The Raiders are a great organization, treat you well. And, it's really fun playing at Stevie Y, especially if it's
Oh, yeah.
packed. Get a good team, playoffs. You have a great time.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks again, man. I appreciate you coming on, Michael. And again, happy holidays and have a good one.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.